Gathering music video was Kwanzaa celebration and a great introduction to Kwanzaa. It showed the kinara, the candle holder, and the 7 candles, red, black, and green, representing the Pan-African flag, and the 7 principles celebrated during Kwanzaa. As a Unitarian, I relate to having 7 principles, and as a Jew, I really like the idea of the kinara because it seems so similar to the Hanukkah menorah. Welcome to all. My name is Rachel Daniels, and I am your worship associate. This is a hybrid service. It's both in person and by Zoom. And Merry Christmas to all. Happy first day of Kwanzaa, and good health to all. These are really challenging times and somewhat scary times with this pandemic. I'm joining you today from the fellowship for this hybrid service. We have 2 audiovisual technicians, Don, our Zoom technician working Zoom magic from Las Vegas, Pam, who masterminds our Sunday services, is our AV technician here in the fellowship. The powerful and beautiful music that Carol provides is being performed safely from her home. Lit candles, hot coffee, goodies, building maintenance are brought to you by the dynamic duo of Paul and Candy. In Unitarian Universalism, we accept you for who and what you are. We provide a non-judgmental religious home that will accept and support you wherever you may be in your life's journey. This is a safe space to stand out, stand up, and change your mind. Our only doctrine is love. For all those on Zoom and those in our sanctuary, we thank you for being here, and we appreciate you and your fellowship. Within our own borders and beyond, celebrating Kwanzaa, or at least supporting and understanding Kwanzaa, is important and unifying. Kwanzaa is a family event and a community event in many parts of our nation and in the world. Kwanzaa is similar to the cultural celebrations of St. Patrick's Day, Cinco de Mayo, Chinese New Year, in that those from all different backgrounds are welcome to celebrate. In 1992, the first Hallmark Kwanzaa card appeared. Then in 1997, there was the first Kwanzaa US postage stamp, and a second postage stamp for Kwanzaa was released in 2004. US presidents from Bill Clinton, George Bush, Barack Obama, and even Donald Trump have issued official Kwanzaa greetings. Kwanzaa is a day of tremendous importance for millions of people. We are honored to have our guest speaker, Yvette T. McDonnell, with us today to share some of the gifts of Kwanzaa. Yvette is here by Zoom. Yvette is a Master of Divinity student at Starr King with a concentration in interfaith chaplaincy. Her ministry is grounded in justice, hope, and liberation. Yvette believes that hope is the dream that has yet come to fruition, and liberation is rooted in those dreams. Let's see. Yvette is grounded in the knowledge that her ancestors accompany her, and she accepts and recognizes the gifts bestowed upon her as a mystic, a counselor, an educator, and a keeper of memories. You are invited to share in the gifts of storytelling by Yvette as she recounts her family's favorite Kwanzaa tale, the 7 Spools of Thread. In the spirit of the African American celebration, Yvette will encourage participation from all who have come to gather, whether by Zoom or here in the fellowship. Yvette has also agreed to stick around for a few minutes after our service to answer any questions that you may have. Unitarian Universalists, similar to the Kwanzaa celebration, have 7 principles that we affirm and promote. Today's service seems to focus mainly on our 6th principle, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Cultural events like those previously mentioned, St. Patrick's Day, Cinco de Mayo, Chinese New Year, and Kwanzaa promote understanding and unity and bring us all together. For those on Zoom, the order of service for today's program is in the email notice sent to you. And for those here in the fellowship, copies of the order of service are available in the back of the room. If you have an unspoken joy or sorrow and you're here in the fellowship, feel free at any time to go over to the candles over there and light a candle. We'll have spoken joys and service, spoken joys and sorrows later on in the service. Let's see. Everywhere on Sunday mornings, Unitarians light the chalice. The flaming chalice represents the transformations that take place when we are together in this religious community. If you've joined us by Zoom, if you have a candle nearby, please light yours at home. And Brian will come up and light our chalice here. A few weeks ago, our member Peggy Mears lit the chalice and shared some profoundly touching words with the congregation when she lit the chalice. These are from Mark Nepo's poem, Breaking Surface, and here they are again. Let no one keep you from your journey, no rabbi or priest, no mother who wants you to dig for treasures she misplaced, no father who won't let one life be enough, no lover who measures their worth by what you might give up, no voice that tells you in the night it can't be done. Let nothing dissuade you from seeing what you see, or feeling the winds that make you want to dance alone, or go to where no one has yet to go. You are the only explorer, your heart the unreadable compass, your soul the shore of a promise too great to be ignored. Thanks go out to Peggy. When we light the chalice in worship, it represents the illumination in our hearts for the world that we are called upon to serve with love and to seek justice. One of the reasons that I'm a worship associate, oh, and I forgot to say thank you, Brian, also for lighting the chalice. One of the reasons that I'm a worship associate is that I have to look at beautiful quotes and wisdom from so many scholars so that I can choose a centering thought, one that speaks to my heart and of course makes sense for the service. And many times I just can't decide on which one to use. So today we have 3 centering thoughts. And please unmute yourselves, and those here in our fellowship, please read the centering thought together, and you on Zoom unmute and we'll read our centering thoughts together. The first centering thought was found by Oakley Frost. I took it from one of his previous services when he was the worship associate. Centering thought number 1. Again, let's read this together. Every loving thought is true. Everything is an appeal for healing and health, regardless of the form. This thought struck me as related possibly to the first principle of Kwanzaa, unity. Our nation's racist history and racism today are difficult to overcome. Recently, during the previous administration, and now during this pandemic, we seem so divisive and often hateful. But if we look on those who may act cruelly as people in need of healing, it may help to bring us together, create more unity in our communities and nation. Now we'll read centering thought number 2 together. Okay. It isn't just love that makes the world go round, but compassion over and starting over gentleness when love hasn't been enough or other factors have failed. A gentle refusal to blame oneself or others and just begin again. At our committee meeting. And this one to me seems to go along with the second day of Kwanzaa, or the second principle, self-determination. In other words, if things have not gone as intended, don't blame anyone, don't beat yourself up, just begin again, self-determination. And for our last and final centering thought, this one seems to demonstrate the third day of Kwanzaa and its principle of building community and being of service. And again, please stay unmuted. And let's read this together also. Everybody
can be great.
Because
Because anybody can serve.
have to have a
Don't
college
have to have a college degree to serve.
subject and
You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve.
You
Only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love.
And now,
by
from
not
Call to
Martin
Worship,
Luther King Jr.
we go to our guest speaker today, Yvette T. McDonnell.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and Habari Gani. What is the news on this beautiful first day of Kwanzaa? How is everyone feeling today? This is where you all unmute yourselves and tell me how you're feeling today, because I really want to know. Good, good, wonderful. Anybody else want to share?
Good.
Good.
Sleepy.
Sleepy. Yes, I feel that too. Yeah, thank
I'm really
you.
confused because I thought it was Monday.
I understand. I thought today was Saturday. Thank you all for sharing. You know, whether you thought it was Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, if you're sleepy, know that whatever energy you are bringing here with you today, it is welcomed. As Rachel has shared, my name is Yvette McDonnell, and I wanted to share a bit more about who I am before we are called to be in community with one another. I am the daughter of Janice Johnson, the granddaughter of Lucille Thomas, the great-granddaughter of Miranda Luter, and all of those ancestors who I cannot name. I call out their names to acknowledge their existence and all that it took for me to be here with all of you today. I sit on the land of the Wabanaki people, which many people call Maine today. And I sit at the intersections of privilege and oppression. I want to thank you for coming and welcoming me into your community and bearing witness to my gifts as a seminarian at Starr King School of Ministry. I want to give a special thanks to the worship team that has worked together to make my visit possible today from Maine. So, who am I? It's a question I have asked myself over and over and over again. In African spirituality, specifically Dagara numerology, speaks directly to the essence of who I am. I am from the earth, part of the skeleton people, the element kingdom of mineral, the place of bones and stones, the home of the writer, the poet, the storyteller, counselor, teacher, and keeper of memories and receiver of messages from the other world. As I continue to unearth the gifts that have been bestowed upon me by my ancestors, I move with great compassion, empathy, fire, hope, and liberation that's rooted in justice. Our opening reading comes from our ancestor, Sobonfu Somé from Burkina Faso, of the Dagara people. She too, she was a writer, a teacher, an activist, and has gifted us much wisdom about African spirituality, particularly of Dagara cosmology. I share with you all today powerful and grounding words about community from the spirit of intimacy, ancient African teachings in the ways of relationships on community. Community is the spirit, the guiding light of the tribe, whereby people come together in order to fulfill a specific purpose, to help others fulfill their purpose and to take care of one another. The goal of community is to make sure that each member of the community is heard and is properly giving the gifts they have brought to this world. See, without this giving of community, the community dies. And without the community, the individual is left without a place where they can contribute. The community is a grounding place where people come and share their gifts and receive from others. This is a piece of universal wisdom that resonates deeply with me today. As today is my very first sermon, and I'm kind of nervous, but I want to thank all of you that are here from this material world and those who have passed to the other world for being my community, for helping me to fulfill my life's purpose and lifting my voice up on my ministerial journey. So in return, I can contribute to the world. As we begin to fellowship with one another on this first day of Kwanzaa, I would like to invite you all to join in, muted, in singing Lift Every Voice and Sing, also known as the Black National Anthem. Ashe and amen.
That was beautiful. And Yvette, we're so thrilled to have you with us here today. Now for our Unison Affirmation, please unmute. And the Unison Affirmation will be on your screens. And here in the fellowship, we will read it together. And please remember to keep your masks on while reading and or singing. And here we go. Together. Love
Is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love,
And to
to help one another.
I don't know what's going on today. My tongue seems to be tripping on itself. Okay, now it's time for our spoken joys and sorrows. We're going to pause our recording. And there are many ways to help our strong and growing fellowship, and one of the ways is by your financial support. Carol will be playing while we're passing the basket here in the fellowship, and we have a slide up that shows ways to send in your money, to donate online, or mail in checks. With that, I turn it over to Carol. Here in the fellowship, please stand as you feel comfortable. And those on Zoom, please sing along. We're going to sing "From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live," and we'll sing it twice.
From you
I receive.
I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
Now, now we'll have a short meditation, contemplation, and/or prayer. As you sit, please close your eyes. Just sort of feel the earth around you as you clear your mind. Feel the love of this community, of your family as it surrounds you. Just take a long, deep breath and then exhale. Feel your breath as it brings in love. Exhale and feel your love flowing out to those in the room and those in your family and to the world beyond. Breathe in and out and take a moment to breathe. And then Carol will bring us back.
Habari gani. Hey, now that I'm unmuted. Habari gani, everyone. Do you recall me saying that during the call to worship? I'm going to say it again. Habari gani. Well, what,
Habari gani.
yes, yes. So what does that mean, right? It means, what is the news in Swahili? So I would like to invite those of you here on Zoom to unmute for a moment, and those in the fellowship hall to say Habari gani with me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Habari gani. Yes. Yes, thank you. That was great. So as I shared, Habari gani is Swahili for what is the news. This is how many people who celebrate Kwanzaa greet one another. Well, how does one respond to that? One would respond to what is the news with one of the 7 principles of the day of Kwanzaa. For example, today is the first day of Kwanzaa. And the first principle is umoja, umoja. So if I say Habari gani, how do you respond? This is where you unmute. How do you respond?
Umoja.
Yes,
Umoja.
that's right. Umoja. And umoja means unity. Today, December 26th, marks the 55th anniversary of the celebration of Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa means first fruits of the harvest in Swahili. It was 55 years ago today that Dr. Maulana Karenga, who was a professor of Pan-African Studies at California State University at Long Beach, started to harvest the first fruits of Kwanzaa in 1966. Now, as some of you may know, the 1960s was a powerful time in history. We had the Black Power movement, the Civil Rights movement, the Vietnam War was going on, Black leaders had been assassinated, and there was no denying the continued injustices that were happening to Black Americans across the country. It was after the Watts uprising that Dr. Karenga started Kwanzaa as a way to celebrate and bring the Black community together. Now, did you know that many of the first supporters of Kwanzaa were actually Black Unitarian Universalists, who also assisted in getting funding for Dr. Karenga to spread the news about Kwanzaa? Kwanzaa honors the resilience of Black people, and it focuses on 7 principles: unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, faith. And within that faith lies the hopes and the dreams of Black liberation. One of my favorite ways to share about the cultural celebration of Kwanzaa is through storytelling. Storytelling is a powerful way to weave a visual understanding and meaning of life's many wonders and surprises. The oral tradition of storytelling is rooted in African diaspora community. And today, I want to share my rendition of my family's favorite Kwanzaa story called The Seven Spools of Thread, a Kwanzaa story by Angela Shelf Medeiros. A long time ago, in the beautiful setting of the Ashanti people, there lived 7 fine-looking brothers whose skin was as smooth and as dark as mahogany wood. They lived with their father as their mother had passed away many, many, many moons ago. The 7 brothers were strong and had straight limbs. However, they were a great disappointment to their father, for all they did was bicker 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From the time the rooster crowed, they argued about this. To the time the sun was high in the sky, they argued about that. And from the time they ate their stew and their fufu was cold. They even argued until the moon was high in the sky and the stars fluttered bright. One very, very sad day, their father had passed away. And the village chief called to the 7 brothers. The chief said, Your father has left you an inheritance. The 7 brothers whispered with excitement amongst themselves. I know father left me everything because, well, I am the oldest. No, no, no. Father left me everything because I am the youngest, said the 7th son. Huh. You both are wrong. He left me everything because, of course, I was his favorite son. The brothers started yelling and pushing and arguing and tumbling on the ground. Enough, cried the chief. The brothers stopped. The brothers stopped fighting and they shook the dust from their clothes. And then they started to glare at each other with great suspicion. The chief spoke. Your father has decreed that all of his property and goods will be divided up between all 7 of you equally. But first, by the time the moon rises high in the sky tonight, you all have to learn to make gold from these 7 spools of silk thread. If you do not, you will be tossed out into the streets without a penny to your name. The oldest brother was handed blue thread. The next brother received red. The next yellow. The middle son was given orange thread. The next green, and the next one received black. And the youngest son was given white thread. For the first time, the brothers were speechless. The chief spoke again. From this moment on, you all must not argue amongst yourselves or raise a hand in anger towards one another. For if you do, all of your father's property and possessions will be divided amongst all the villagers, and you will all get nothing. Now go, you all have little time. Well, the brothers kissed the hands of the chief and hurried away. When the 7 Ashanti brothers arrived home, they all sat in a circle, from the oldest to the youngest. They held hands without saying an unkind word to each other. The oldest spoke. Let's continue to hold hands and make peace with one another. The younger said, yes, let us not fight ever again. For the first time in over 10 years, there was peace within their home. The third son said, I certainly don't think father would turn us out into the street. I agree, said the middle son. I don't think our father would give us the task of turning these 7 spools of thread into gold if it were not possible. The oldest son said, do you think there are pieces of gold in the thread? Each one held up their thread into the bright sun. Each spool sparkled in the hot sun. But there was no gold in it. I don't think so, said the 6th brother. But you know, that was a really good idea. Aw, thank you, my brother, said the middle son. I have an idea, said the youngest brother. Do you think if we work together to make something out of this thread, we could earn a fortune in gold? Hey, said the oldest brother. This is a good idea. We could make cloth out of the thread and sell it. I know we can do it. But wait, neither one of us have enough of any one color to make a full bolt of cloth. What if, said the third son, we weave the thread together and make a cloth of many colors? But our people do not wear cloth like that, said the fifth son. We wear cloth of only one color. Maybe, said the second son, we can make a cloth that is so special that everyone from near and far will want to wear it. My brothers, said the sixth son, if we work together, we could finish faster and make this beautiful cloth of all of our silk threads. I know we can succeed, said the middle son. So the 7 Ashanti brothers went to work. Some of the brothers worked on the loom while others began to assemble it. They all took turns weaving in and out their spools of thread. They made beautiful patterns. They used all the colors: blue, red, yellow, orange, green, black, and white. After a while, the brothers had created a beautiful multicolored cloth. When the cloth was completed, they folded the cloth so neatly and gently into 7 baskets. But they then put the baskets on their heads and moved quickly to the market. By this time, the sun had slowly begun to creep across the sky. The 7 brothers hurried quickly as they could as they went to the market. As soon as they got to the market, the 7 Ashanti brothers called out, "Come, come and buy the most wonderful cloth in the world. Come, come and buy the most wonderful cloth in the world." As they unfolded the fabric, it shimmered like a rainbow. One villager said, I have never seen cloth so beautiful before. What a lovely pattern. Ah, said another, this has got to be the finest cloth in all of the land. The brothers smiled proudly. Suddenly, a man dressed in magnificent robes pushed his way through the crowd, and everybody stepped back, for it was the king's treasurer. It became very clear and very quiet in the market. The treasurer rubbed the cloth between his fingers, and he held it up into the sunlight. What a thing of beauty. This will make a wonderful gift for the king. I shall take it all. The 7 brothers whispered with excitement. A cloth fit for a king should be priced for only what a king can pay, said the oldest brother. It is yours for 1 bag of gold, sold. The 7 Ashanti brothers ran out of the marketplace, back down the road to the village. The silver moon had begun to make its way up into the sky. The 7 brothers were panting, and they were dripping with sweat, and they threw themselves before the chief's hut. Oh, chief, said the oldest, we have turned the thread into gold. We have not argued or fought all day. Good, said the chief. You all have learned your lesson your father has sought to teach you. All that he has is now yours. Some of the brothers were very happy and very excited. However, some were sad. The youngest brother said, "What about the poor people in the village? We receive an inheritance, but what will they get?" The middle brother said, "I know. We can teach them how to turn thread into gold." The chief smiled. "Yes, you have learned your lessons very, very well indeed." The 7 Ashanti brothers taught their people, and the village became famous for its beautiful multicolored cloth, and everyone prospered. Now I'm going to say that again. Everyone prospered. I love this story. It's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful way to weave in the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. The story is filled with unity, umoja, self-determination, kujichagulia, collective work and responsibility, ujima, cooperative economics, ujama, purpose, nia, creativity, kuumba, and faith, imani. For without faith, we have no hope or dreams of liberation. Let us not only remember the 7 principles of Kwanzaa today, but why Dr. Karenga started Kwanzaa in the first place. It was a way to bring the Black community together, to empower Black people, and to provide a cultural connection to their African ancestry. During a time when Blacks across the country were fighting for justice and liberation. Well, here we are, 55 years later, and Black Americans are still calling for justice. You know, regardless if you celebrate Kwanzaa or not, Kwanzaa's 7 principles are much like the 7 Unitarian Universalist principles, and both of them have been gifted to all of us. On this first day of Kwanzaa, the day of umoja, the day of unity, I invite you to ponder, to ask of yourself, how can I be moved into action within my own community to dismantle the injustices that continue to exist against Black and Brown people today? I ask, excuse me, I ask that we remember Sobonfu Some's writing today about community. Community is the spirit, the guiding light of the tribe, whereby people come together in order to fulfill a specific purpose, to help others fulfill their purpose, and to take care of one another. See, to have umoja, to have unity, one of the things we need is solidarity. We need each other to survive. And however you call in spirit today, let us say amen, ashe, blessed be, and may it be so. And with an open mind and heart, I invite all of us to sing, muted, I Need You to Survive by Hezekiah Walker, and sung by the choir of Sinai Seventh-day Adventist Church in New York. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Yvette. The Seven Spools of Thread, that'll stay with me. And my goodness, what a great storyteller you are too. So animated and beautiful. I thank you for that. And again, Yvette will be with us for a few minutes after the service. We're now going to extinguish the chalice and carry the light of the light of love in our hearts, and we'll carry it out to the world around us. And now we'll join our hearts and we'll sing with Carol, Let There Be Peace on Earth. And here in the sanctuary, I ask you guys to stand. And of course, those on Zoom, you guys will remain muted. And we'll just sing along with Carol, and we'll leave our masks on here in the sanctuary while we sing. Let there be peace on earth.
Please join me.